Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Thank you for taking time to cruise in for Car Club Talk with Robert, Randy, and Dana. Welcome to our home in the Lone Star Community Radio Studios house here in Conroe Tower and in the county where the official flag of the Lone Star State was born. I'm Randy Weldon along with Robert Helmer and Dana Pritchard, and sequestered back in the safe room / sound booth is our sound engineer and producer, Dick Schischler. We are broadcasting from Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 and 106.1 FM, and streaming worldwide on irlonestar.com, YouTube, and Facebook. Robert, we got anybody on the program today?
Yeah, I'm Robert Helmer, and we are your host today on Cruisin Car Club Talk. And on today's show, we have Heather Hartman. She is the owner and lead instructor for Hartman Tacticals, and she specializes in personal safety, situation awareness, firearms training. Now, I got to go for that one, right? Mm-hmm. Firearms training, offers courses to design and to build confidence and preparedness. So she will be joining us in the studio today, and we will also talk about her 19 years of law enforcement career. So
19 years of law enforcement.
Very impressive resume.
Yeah,
that's some dedication there.
I thought it would be nice to have her on. Number one, she's a woman in a male-dominated industry, kind of like I am in automotive, and she's a good role model, and she can teach, a lot of people, very important things.
Yeah, and we actually met her at Cars and Coffee.
Mm-hmm. She's going to be one of our sponsors too, coming up for Cars and Coffee. So
we'll ask her what kind of car she drives.
Yeah.
Okay. And also we have a returning guest, Vernon Wilhelm. He's the president of Northside Mustang Car Club, and we're going to review their last show, the Lone Star Motor Madness, that was held November the 2nd. And also talk about as he prepares for the next Lone Star Motor Madness in 2025 at the same location, Bull Salas Park. It's going to be the first weekend of November of 2025, and he will be joining us in the studio as well. But before we get to our guests, let's get to some automotive news. And one of my favorite news articles is mandates.
Well, let's talk about mandates, man. Let's do that.
Okay. The state of Connecticut governor this week said the electric car EV mandate was no longer under consideration for the state. They had sought and failed to phase out all new sales of combustion engines by 2035. And so this is ongoing state all across the country mandates.
We knew those mandates were going to slide.
So this decision represents a major win for SEMA. SEMA and its members invested heavily in this fighting this mandate. They spent heavily to educate their residents and the lawmakers about the impact of mandates. So there goes another one on hold.
Well, we're just not far enough along with the technology.
That's what they keep saying too. Also, I just watched a program today, and they're like, the scientists need to get the technology up to standard. They're trying to force everything, solar energy, all their alternative energies, get away from coal and everything. And but the technology is just not catching up.
It's not a matter of catching up. Technology takes a while to develop. Right. And my experience with televisions and the technology we created and brought along there, it's about a 17-year process to get something coming in to become mainstream and affordable for people.
That's the main thing, affordable and economical to use.
It's got to be affordable, and it's got to be up to mass production.
Yeah.
So, which drops the price to affordability, right?
Yeah. Oh, since you travel a lot, I don't know if you've ever seen this before. Hertz customers were met with an empty rental desk.
Yeah, I get in late a lot, so I
okay, but I don't
met with that a lot.
It led the customers to grabbing whatever keys were available at the Santa Cruz airport.
I like it.
And So they said,
I'd have taken the Mustang in a heartbeat.
yeah, they were just grabbing what was available. They said 20-something customers grabbed keys to cars. They saw cars that had keys in them, and they just grabbed the cars and left. One of the customers was actually Denver's mayor, Mike Johnson, who took off with the car.
My man, that's it right there.
What, do they need greater security or what?
They didn't have anybody there.
If there's nobody at the desk, once you leave now, what they've got, what I just experienced at Columbus, Ohio, 2 weeks ago, was as you exit in Hertz, they've got this thing with a bunch of lights on it, a bunch of cameras in it, and you just drive up, and it says drive through slowly, and it actually just takes pictures of you and the license plate and all that stuff, and you're off. You're out of there.
Are you saying technology's taking
Technology
our jobs?
was not there at this particular Hertz rental place. Yeah, you couldn't just do this, and so they had to notify all the customers, including Mike Johnson, and tell them, hey, you're in the wrong car. Please bring it back.
Yeah, please bring it back.
But I thought that was kind of funny.
Mike's like, you realize you're talking to the mayor of the city, right?
Well, they said, well, you're in New York, not Denver right now.
Oh, yeah, okay. New York, you're going to jail on this one.
So that was the news what we have. Y'all have anything since you've been doing all this traveling to Tennessee?
Let me ask you a question. Which two states in this country are you not allowed to pump your own gas in?
Oh man, I've heard that before. I don't remember. I think
a
one
law.
of them is New York.
No.
It's gonna
New
be
York
around
does it as a courtesy if you want to.
It's
but-
New Jersey
New Jersey. Okay.
and Oregon, and they did it to create jobs. But yeah, you pull in, man, they're going to be all over the windshield
Yeah.
and filling up the gas and all that stuff for
Yeah,
you.
my family out there can attest to that, dude.
They
They're
can
right
attest
from
to
Jersey.
that. They live in North Jersey. That's right.
Okay.
But so those are the two states, and for what it's worth, I rented a car to go to the East Coast. I had so many tools, I didn't want to fly stuff, and so we went to New Jersey. I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee is what they rented me. Really nice vehicle. Until I looked up the price this morning, they go for like $82,000.
Right.
But this thing had every feature in it you can imagine, and I've never been like, I guess because I'm a fat guy, it's like I've never been like a guy that needed heated seats or heated steering wheel. But I'm going to tell you something.
You get
On this
used to
trip,
it?
I got used to it, man. Even in 75-degree weather, I was using the heated steering wheel. But this thing was also an EV, and I pulled up to the hotel the first night, and because it was there was no charge in the battery when I picked the car up, and I wanted to see what it was like. And there's Tesla chargers. They didn't have an adapter for that, so
For the Jeep.
For the Jeep. So I called the rental place. They're like looking under where the rear wheel storage is, and I looked under there, and there's a charger, but it's a 110 charger, right?
Right.
So this hotel that we were working in, they closed it down. Yolanda and I are the only two staying there, which was really cool. But we parked like right up underneath the entrance. And at night, I noticed a 110 charger outlet there. So I would pull over there and plug this thing in, and it took like 14 hours to charge.
14 hours.
14 hours. Yeah, well, on 110 volt,
Lucky
right?
we didn't have to go
Yeah.
anywhere anytime
Yeah.
soon.
Well, we had gas in the truck. It was a hybrid. It wasn't just electric.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to see what it was like just to drive on electric, and you don't really notice a difference. But it was pretty cool. Just having
Other than it
that.
doesn't make any sound.
Doesn't make any sound.
Yeah.
But you also have the ability to turn on regeneration while you're driving. So whether you're braking or accelerating or whatever, it's regenerating electric.
Right.
And this thing, the mileage on that engine was 27 miles per gallon. Well, I'm impressed with it.
Yeah.
I just not spending $82,000 on that or any other vehicle. I'm that guy that buys Levi's or whatever brand from Walmart for $9.99. So, and if you see me in a shirt, somebody gave it to me.
Yeah.
So no matter what the shirt.
Nothing wrong
Anyhow,
with
so that's my my update for driving to New Jersey and back.
Yeah, that's good.
My hometown.
Your home state.
Well, speaking of that, Staten Island, a whole bunch of news on that
right.
lately.
Yeah. Hey, that place is on fire.
Put me
up
on the
there.
map with Staten Island with that bakery, huh?
That place is on fire up there, the whole Northeast. That's all they're reporting on the news.
That's all we got on the news. We can go to the events. I wrote this one down, but now I just realized it's November 24th. I don't think the show is going to show on 20. I think it's the 25th we're actually going to show. But it's Speed Advocates. They are meeting at Rudy's Barbecue in Tomball Parkway. And it's a Sunday, and they're going to meet at 8 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to roll out, and they're going to cruise to the National Forest.
Yeah, I saw Stephen Cruz had posted a thing while we were in New Jersey, and he's got that lined up to take off, so that'll be pretty cool.
That's going to be a great cruise. I'll
Yep.
try to make it out there
Where
to
are they
that
meeting?
one. Rudy's Barbecue in Tomball.
On 249.
On the 25th?
Yeah.
Okay, so
24th.
On the 24th, November 24th. It's a Sunday.
Okay.
8 a.m., roll out at 9. And that's going to be a great cruise. I'm sure he always gets a lot of participation.
He gets a lot of participation, man. A lot.
And then we have TWCC on December the 1st.
We're doing the toy drive.
Oh, we're doing a toy drive.
Can you give out that address?
That's 9595 Six Pines Drive. In front of Starbucks is where we check in. And we'll be doing the annual toy drive for the Montgomery County Women's Shelter.
Hey, and for people that want to just drop off a toy, they can come up with the check-in location where we are.
Yeah.
And just give us a toy, and they can keep
Yeah, they
cruising
just
right on
type in
through,
Market
huh?
Street, Starbucks at Market Street,
Yeah,
and drop
but
off a toy.
come drop off a toy. You don't have to actually participate in the cars and
Right.
coffee. It's just
An unwrapped toy for a boy or a girl,
Yeah.
and they will be out on site with us and have the collection boxes. So
And who's that? What charity is that
it's the
again?
Montgomery County Women's Shelter.
Okay.
And it's really nice, too, because those kids, they've been through a lot, and it's nice for the moms to be able to put on a Christmas for them.
Yeah, and this is not your first time for doing Toys for Tots, right?
Well, it's the Montgomery County Women's Shelter.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you've actually collected toys at
Well,
Cars and Coffee,
For
right?
doing the
Yes.
Christmas toy collection, it's not.
Yeah, it's
we've
two
been doing
different
that ever since I've been
organizations, Toys for
involved, so-
Tots, and
Yeah.
what we collect for. Years ago, we used to collect for the Montgomery County youth services, and then we changed over to the Women's Shelter. So
Okay.
it's awesome.
But you know what? If nothing else, it makes you feel good to give and to give back to your community. So,
Right.
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
y'all
And-
come on out, man.
Yeah,
A lot of people have toy
and there are
drives.
toy drives all over the place right now going on. Now, all you got to do is check your Facebook events page, and you'll see there's 100 of them. The next event is December the 7th, Gateway Classic Cars of Houston, and they are having caffeine and chrome. Everybody's coming up with new names now for Cars and Coffee. So there's some caffeine and chrome. It's going on for 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and this is a toy drive. There will be music, food, and drinks. And Gateway is 1910 Cypress Station Drive.
That's
Houston.
Gateway Classic?
Yes.
And
And that's Houston, Texas, 77090. If you
Yeah,
need
but
the
then-
GPS.
Garages of Texas is having theirs on the 23rd of November, and they call theirs the Woodlands Coffee and Cars.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that. A little confusing there.
They have 3 different names, I think, but they're doing a toy drive too. So,
Yeah.
but that's at Garages of Texas and Magnolia on the 23rd from 8 to 11, I believe they have theirs. So,
Okay. Another one is Sunday, December the 8th, Octane and Espressos. This is the last one of the year. Of course it is. It's December. So this is also by Speed Advocate. This is 7086 Texas Highway 6, Houston, 77095 for the GPS. And this is at Black Rifle Coffee Company in Copperfield. That
Did-
ought to be a good one.
Over
Did y'all
near
go to the-
1960, huh?
Yeah.
Over off 1960.
Yeah, it's way out there.
did y'all go to the tailpipes and tacos at Lupe Tortilla?
No, I was
but
out
I
of town.
did watch
so.
the
In Middletown?
podcast. Yes,
How was that?
it looked pretty good. Like they had a good crowd, so that was good.
They always get a good turnout. It's in Katy, so there's more people in Katy than most of Houston. You know.
And they're doing that nighttime at Charm Bistro off of Research Forest. They just did there. They do a nighttime once a month, I think, meet. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
I'm talking
Haven't.
about.
No.
They're the ones from
I haven't
Torque
seen that
Houston. They do the event right after our Cars and Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a buddy from my hometown text me a picture of what's that one they have, the concours part in at Market Street. What is it? What's the name of it?
Which one?
It's the other. We do the Cruisin on the first Sunday, and somebody does it on a Saturday.
Well, I don't
the
think
exotics.
The exotics,
They
yeah.
used to do it.
Exotics.
I don't think they do that anymore there, but
Well, they had one this month.
oh, they did have
Yeah,
one.
because a buddy of mine sent me this picture. He's like, "Hey, Cars and Coffee." I'm like, "I'm in New Jersey." He's like, "My son's there." I was like, "Yeah, no, not
It's
the one we
third
go
Saturday.
to."
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
yeah.
It's an invite
Third
only.
Saturday.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they moved
we
that
do
to the
first
post.
Sunday, so yeah.
Yeah.
There's the third Saturday of the month.
Well, ours is invite only too. We just invite everybody that wants to show up.
Well, they're not
Right?
supposed to publicize it. That's it.
And last one we got is December the 7th, Haggerty is hosting this, and this is a real interesting place. It's called the Shop Club. Have you seen
Shop Club?
The Shop Club. It's a place where if you have exotic cars and you need storage, they give you a place to store. They also give you a place for the car storage, lifts, wash bays and tools, workspaces, and meeting rooms.
Yeah, they host events. A
Right.
lot of Christmas
So that's what
parties
they're
and-
doing. This is an event. It is open car meet, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., December the 7th, and it's in the Willowbrook area. So it's 1315 Brenton Ridge, Houston, and that is 77070. for the GPS.
That storage is free, right?
No,
Oh, no?
no.
It's a really nice
It's
facility,
a
though.
members only kind of car place. So, but this is an open car show to go, open car meet.
Members only sounds a little bit exclusive.
Yes,
They've had
it-
them there before. I think one of the Corvettes had one of their
Yeah.
shows there.
It looks like a really nice place when you look at it on the website.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I mean, the guys that have created those made
Yeah.
some nice facilities out of them.
And so that's it. That's what we got.
That's all you got. That is all you got. So what about, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Mustang Club of Houston have a show at Legacy where they're doing a toy drive also?
I think they are. I don't have the details on that, so I don't know if that was already happening.
I don't think so.
have a
I
date.
think it's probably in December also.
Okay, we have to
Yeah.
go to the Mustang Club of Houston's Facebook page,
Yeah.
check their events.
Then they've got some Christmas parties. Northside has Christmas parties.
Yes.
I know December 7th is the Wild Horse Christmas party over in.
And we can probably talk about all that when Vernon gets in here, and I'm sure he knows all the dates to that.
Well, we'll ask him. I know that the Northside event's on the 14th.
Right.
Wild Horse is on the 7th. And for what it's worth, so it's Mr. Vice President of Northside. I was asked by Mustang Club of America to video a judges meeting up in Eureka Springs on that same day. So I'll be up there taking care of that and shooting
Okay.
the video for those guys. So
And when is the January meeting?
I don't know. It's whenever Meekum auction is. So it's
Right.
probably on the early part of that, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But you'll be at that, right? Because national
So as soon
directors
as I
have to
find
go.
me a ride, and let everybody know.
We'll get you a ride.
Transportation needed.
Amtrak actually goes over to like, Pensacola, and then you can get the Greyhound bus south.
Right.
So
And where's that actually being held? Do you remember?
yeah, they hold it at in Kissimmee.
Kissimmee, Florida.
That's where the Meekum auction's held at the fairgrounds in Kissimmee. But they usually stay at the Holiday Inn in I can't remember the exact name of the town, but it's basically Orlando.
Okay.
And it's Surprise. That's the name of it, Surprise,
Yeah.
Florida. And they hold at the Holiday Inn down there.
It's not anywhere near Universal Studios, is it?
It's not far.
It's not far.
Not far. Why you need to?
No,
to go
I'm just
there.
I'm comparing
wanna go to
hotel
Disney?
prices. I mean, the closer you get to the Universals, the higher they go.
The MCA rate usually is around $79 and about $10 a day for breakfast. So
Okay.
their rates negotiated pretty reasonably down there.
I know that was one of the reasons why a lot of people didn't go to Georgia, Savannah,
It was
Georgia,
the-
because of
It was
the rates were so high.
the transportation cost getting in was what was really expensive. Although the hotel rates were a little bit expensive. But man, I got to tell you, what a nice show. I mean, that was really a nice show down there. The setting, the convention center in Savannah overlooking the river, and you were on the, I believe, the east side, looking west into the city downtown, which is, old Savannah
Yeah.
right down along the riverfront. Really pretty cool scene, setup, and a nice facility too.
Yeah. Just travel all over the world just to go see cars.
I go see hotels and cars.
Yeah. And if anybody knows, Randy posts his famous hallway pictures.
Absolutely. But I got people now around the world that post hallway pictures back to me, which I love, Robert calls me while I was traveling this week, and he's like, "Where are you at?" "Oh, we're in Pigeon Forge right now, but we were in the Smoky Mountains earlier taking a tour through Cades Cove." He's like, "I thought you were working." It's like, with every project that I do, I
Yeah,
take a little
he-
bit of
he-
time for myself to vacation, That's why people always want, how do you know where this is? Well, for 40 years now, I've been traveling around.
Exploring.
Yeah. I mean, I can remember going to Hollywood.
It's not all work and no play.
No, you go to see Grauman's Chinese Theater or whatever. Take some time to go see this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm only going around once in life. I don't know about you guys, but I don't have a second shot at it, so I got to see this stuff
While you're there working.
while I'm alive and breathing,
Yeah.
I don't want to see it from another dimension. I want to haunt people at that stage of my life, Let me come back and haunt them. So, you got anything new going on with you, Dana?
I'm just getting ready for December 1st.
Yeah, getting ready for the
December 1st,
TWCC.
Drive.
Yeah,
Is there any Christmas parties with the Corvette Club, Sam Houston Corvette Club,
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Sam Houston Corvette Club. I know Northwest is having theirs.
Northwest?
Yeah.
Is that where you're going to be going?
No.
No.
No, we don't we don't really go to the Christmas parties. Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot,
she's
lot
not,
going on with planning.
She's not festive.
Yeah.
Not festive.
I'm too busy
People from-
watching dogs.
People from New York, they're just not festive.
From Jersey.
From that, well, yeah, she's New Yorker.
But yeah, no, I'm just working on refreshing the Car Club's logo. Just got that refreshed, so we can start rolling that out at the beginning for the new year, and then also our Cars and Coffee, what we're going to be implementing as far as the scholarship program, working on that, and then just getting more sponsorships to be able to donate to more than just the one charity that Market Street picks, which they're going to be announcing that too by the end of the year. So we'll be talking about that in December once I get word what the new charities are. So.
And to aggravate you, she's letting me do the music at TWCC now. So you need to start bringing earplugs.
You sure, or Phil's going to regulate that?
He may regulate it.
Well, he has some really, really good mixes,
Yeah.
to just get a broad
Yeah.
variety of music.
So that way we
you know.
can aggravate the people in the hotel coming out
As
in
long
the
as
morning.
it's not too loud, we have to experiment with that.
Yeah.
Were you there last month when Karen came out of the hotel?
Yeah.
Well, we do wait.
You
the
know this is
honeymoon.
a hotel. It's like, sure do.
Yeah.
It says Hyatt Centric right on it.
I haven't heard anything from Market Street, so that's good.
Yeah, but we wasn't as loud as the
garbage
dumpster,
trucks
the
and the
garbage
leaf
truck.
blowers.
Yeah. They were out there at 6:30 in the morning
I mean,
banging
as
around.
much noise that he was making, our music wasn't anything.
And I told him we're not revving the engines necessarily. It's just at idle that they're loud for the
Yeah.
most part, except for that one not regular.
It would have been really funny if she
person.
would have came out in the house coat and curly.
Well, that would have been better. That would,
Rollers.
she was so upset, and she's screaming at Phil, and I'm sitting about as far from Phil to you, and I can't hear her because of all the noise out there, and I can't hear her to begin with. And I'm like, ma'am, I can't hear you. And she's looking at me, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't hear you. Can you repeat? And she
Gave him a salute.
she started talking in sign language, and I understood what she was talking about, and then she stormed off. So, Karen, if you're watching us or listening, we invite you back next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll have
We'll
to
wake you up early.
We'll have to figure out the sound and the volume and the placement of the speakers, so this way it's evenly
Well,
distributed.
we
'cause-
got to face the speakers away from the hotel, I
and
think.
away from me because I can't. It's way too loud.
Hey, you'll be happy to hear I bought hearing aids, too.
Yay!
Yeah, I don't know when they'll get here, but I'm going to start using them.
They do
Yeah,
help.
yeah. Somebody's got to
Speaking of cars,
let me hear what they're saying.
is your car still at the garage?
Yes, Greg and I talked Saturday night. He's been great. He's good.
He is a great mechanic. I will tell everybody that's where to go.
So this started off with my car won't start because that shifter's broken.
Right.
And in the current version of cars, the brake cable or something has to make contact with the shifter, or it drains the battery and kills the battery. And that's what was going wrong bad with my car. So we still haven't gotten to the shifter. Like, I don't remember exactly what he started with at this point because it's been there since what?
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's
end of
why I'm
September,
asking you,
October.
because I drove by and I saw your car
Yeah,
sticking
yeah.
out of there. I'm like,
So-
he hasn't picked the car up yet.
So what's happened is he got under it, and it's like, hey, man, all these bushings are loose and this and that. So
he's very thorough.
right, but he's like, it's going to cost this. And he's giving me the cost of the parts, which are all reasonable. I mean, it was like
Right.
under $200 to replace all that stuff just for parts. Now
Yeah.
his labor is going to be additional.
Yeah, his labor's really
But
Fair,
we
too.
went from there. Now he's on the back end. Saturday he's telling me, he's like, before I get to this shifter, like, I've got to take this axle out. He took the back end off the differential, and he's like, everything looks good, but I'm seeing these little black spots. And
Right.
so it's like, I've got to pull the axle out. It's like, do you want to do this? I'm like, Greg, at this point, do it. Yolanda wants a convertible to ride around in.
Right.
So just do it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, and then we'll get to the shifter. He's like, you can buy like this $200 shifter, but it looks bad and it's got a plastic seam on it. or you can buy this other one, and you can go online and look at it at Summit, right? Racing. I'm familiar with it. It's the one with the trigger on
Right.
it. So just buy it, Greg. Just when you get past the rear axle, buy it, put it in. When the car comes back, I just want to be
you
able to
just
go
wanna-
down the highway.
You
Yep.
know it's going to be in good shape. It's going to be a reliable car
yeah.
when you get it back because
Yep.
he's very thorough and
I'm
he'll-
glad he is. And he has absolutely no problem telling me, here's the exact cost, and he'll show it to you.
Yep.
You know, if you want your old parts back, like last time I was there, he tried to give me old parts, and I was like, no, can we throw this away here?
Well, he's just showing you he's being fair.
Oh, no. What a great guy.
Yeah.
What a great Greg's
And,
Garage.
Yeah. His prices have never shocked me. He's fair on his labor. He'll tell you, I was looking at it for an hour or two, but I only worked on it for 30 minutes, so I'm only charging you for the 30 minutes.
Yeah. You know, so this is going to end up being like a $3,000 project for me, but that's okay. Let's get that taken care of. I still have $2,000 or $2,200 or $2,500 or something to replace the top on.
Yeah. After that, you have a great car.
I will, but I'll probably then go back and get it repainted, and I might as well pay for a good paint job at this point. You know, it's for those
Really
of you
nice
who haven't
guy.
seen my car, it's a red candy, a Ford paint code U6, but I'll get it painted that same color again.
Yeah.
It'll look
I don't
nice.
have Greg's number on me right now, but if y'all want to know where he's at, just messages.
Hang
Love
on,
to hear from you.
I can probably get it. Just bear with me for a second here.
Okay.
Greg's Garage.
And he's located in Willis, you said, or New King?
Oh no,
No,
he's
no.
in
He's
security,
in Midway,
Texas.
what we call security, right off of 105.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically Cleveland, Texas.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically
although,
Cleveland.
Have you ever, since you've moved down here, you ever heard of the Big Thicket? Well, the Big Thicket is pretty much southeast Texas, and then they call it that because it's all undergrowth. You know, you got these 40-foot pine trees and stuff growing up from the ground. You got to cut your way through it. He's out there in the middle of the Big Thicket, like we're driving along. I'm like, where in the hell is this?
Off the
Yeah.
beaten path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow, his phone number, Greg's Garage, is 832-527-4699. 832-527-4699. And what a great guy. He's not going to lie to you.
No.
He's going to tell you how it is, and he's going to let you make a decision on how you want to get it repaired.
And he doesn't hurry you, and it's just a really relaxed experience with him.
Yep, it really is. It really is. Well, hey, we ought to get some station recognition out here. I think we're getting close to that. And let's see. This is Cruisin' Car Club Talk on Lone Star 104.5 and 106.1 FM, or for those of you who may have wandered outside of the listening area, we can be streamed around the globe on irlonestar.com, YouTube, or Facebook.
Yeah, and if you've been wondering, come back because we're going to have Heather Hartman on, and she's going to be our first guest. So
right.
stay tuned.
Heather Hartman, that's Lisa's
Lisa Hartman's
sister. Yeah.
The Simpsons? Did you?
Every Friday, tune into Texas Ticket on Conroe's 104.5 and 106.1 FM with Armando Nino of Gull Lake Conroe, focusing on Montgomery County area events and places. Get a feel of the Texas spirit at the event, paired with guest and vendor interviews, event coverage, and ticket giveaways, and so much more. Join us Fridays and punch your Texas ticket. For more information on the show, visit irlonestar.com/Texas Ticket.
We are back and appreciate you spending time for Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert, Randy, and Dana. And Robert, who do we have in the studio with us right
We
now?
have our first guest. It's Heather Hartman. She is the owner and lead instructor for Hartman Technicals. She specializes. Give me that name again. I think I messed it up.
Hartman Tactics.
Oh, tactics. Okay.
You want to let her?
Yeah.
Describe.
And she specializes in personal safety, situation awareness, and firearms, my favorite.
Yep.
Offers courses designed to build confidence and preparedness. And so, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, we appreciate
And
you coming to the studio.
I looked at your resume. It's very impressive. 19 years of law enforcement.
I was a homicide and sex crimes detective.
Where was this at?
It was in Minnesota.
Minnesota on purpose. Like, during the winter and everything.
Well, this is why I live in Texas now.
Okay, all right.
Retired, and I'm like, I'm out. So did 19 years as a detective investigating those types of crimes. And then I was also part of the ICAC, which is Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. So I investigated all the manufacturing, possession, and distribution of child pornography cases.
Okay.
That's pretty extensive out there
Yeah.
these days, the people that they find with that.
Yeah.
What part of Minnesota?
Bloomington.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. My ex-sister-in-law lives in, it was St. Paul Park. Now it's some White Tagger Lake or
Yep.
something like that.
Are you talking like White Bear Lake?
White Bear Lake.
White Bear
that's-
Lake.
Yeah.
So actually, I am heading home Wednesday to visit family, and I'm staying in White Bear
Oh,
Lake.
are you really?
Small
Well,
world.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Small
get you
world.
Leah's number. And, you tell her I said hello.
There we go.
Yeah. So,
Well, I can see I can understand now with the business you've started. You know, you want to empower women and families with knowledge and skills to stay safe in everyday lives.
Yeah.
You know? So I can see you can transform it into that.
It took a minute. I wasn't sure what I was going to do because when I first retired, like I needed to regulate my nervous system.
Oh, I can imagine.
It hasn't happened. I think
Yeah.
I'm always going to be hypervigilant, but I tried to get away from it.
Yeah.
And then I just realized, like, no, I think that's just my purpose, right? I have to be able to help people, and with everything that I've seen, I can give people so many tools to keep themselves safe. So, it's,
how'd you get into law enforcement to start with?
Good Lord, I wish I had a certain answer for you. So I've always been very much a right and wrong justice seeker kind of person.
Right.
I did see full transparency, some struggles with my mom when her and my dad divorced when I was very, very young. But my mom didn't have the best picker, if you will. So she went through some pretty abusive relationships, and just seeing that victim mentality as a kid, it just, I wanted to fix it. I wanted to stop it. I wanted to
Right.
let people.
Did you go to college to get into detectives?
Yeah, well, so you don't go to college to get a detective. You go to college for criminal justice, law
Right,
enforcement,
right.
and most departments make you put in your time, right? So you start on patrol, and depending on the size of the department, the population, that
I
might
got
determine
you.
how long it takes to become
So
detective.
you don't come right out of college and go
No.
into detective?
No.
Okay,
You have to
work
put your
way
time
up.
on the street. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're going to work out there,
Yeah.
getting that guy to,
And
come
so
on,
you wanted-
don't pee on that second. Go behind the door.
And you wanted to make things better, so you,
Oh,
after growing up and seeing that,
yeah. I just figured now with everything I've seen, like you name it, I've seen it, and I can it's probably worse than what you could ever imagine, right? And so I just figured, okay, well, I was always reactive, responding to trauma, responding to the worst things. So now if I can educate women and families
Right.
on how to stay on like this side of trauma, so that hopefully they can lower their victim profile and not end up being in a place where they're at a loss or they've been victimized or they lose a family member or something worse.
I really think just giving them the knowledge of your surroundings and know what could be happening around you.
Mm-hmm.
I used to do security at the Summit during the rock concerts during the 80s and
Lakewood
90s.
Church.
Well, it's Lakewood Church now. But, yeah, knowing your surroundings and when a robbery is about to happen, we could detect that within about 5 minutes before it happens, who it was going to be, and that was something just street smart,
Right.
something you had to learn. And after that, when all people going to concerts, I would let them know, be aware of this. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
I've seen it where 5 guys in a group are robbing people, but they didn't walk with 5 together.
Oh no, they separate. and they-
separated,
yeah.
and they attacked, and they separated and left.
Mm-hmm.
So you didn't know who to go after,
They do that on purpose.
and you didn't know who actually robbed you,
Mm-hmm.
or who took the purse, or who took whatever. But that's one of the things I learned when I was doing that
Yeah.
security work.
Well, you learned to watch body behavior, and you looked for like those cues for aggression, like those pre-aggression cues that you
Right.
can tell when somebody's about to do something. Yeah. So.
what would some of that be?
Oh, there's like
pre-aggression?
there's fidgeting, there's scanning. Scanning be like if somebody's keeps looking over their shoulder or looking around, not maintaining eye contact. If you see them kind of clenching their fists, or if they start fidgeting or breathing heavy, sweating. There's so many cues, but also you have to know that just because somebody's sweating, we live in Texas, right? That doesn't mean they're going to rob us. We got to pay it. It's like the totality of the circumstances.
And what kind of setting are you talking about? Like if we're in a movie theater or we're at a concert?
Look,
Could be
you've
anywhere.
seen what happened
Anywhere.
anywhere. And so
Anywhere.
I teach situational awareness, and that class has been very popular. It's about a 2-hour class, but I take real world experiences and cases, and then I give it to you that way. So like if I'm talking to a group, and men join these classes too, typically it's ladies and mature teenagers. But if I'm talking to you about, hey, let's say you're going for a walk, do we pay attention to what vehicles we're walking by, what side of the road, what would you do if somebody came up and surprised you, or, how are you dressing? And people just don't know, they really don't know. Or if you ask somebody, if somebody came out and had a gun and then said, hey, get in the car, would you? Every single hand goes up and they say yes, and that's absolutely the wrong answer, right? But
because
people,
once you get in that car, you're never coming back, they're saying.
the likelihood of it is slim to none. Yeah. So situational awareness is so important. I love teaching that class because everybody walks away like feeling better and knowing
Right.
something.
Because I think street smarts is something
And
everybody
everybody
needs to
can
have.
benefit from it. You
Yeah.
don't know everything as
Yeah.
a person, even if you're a man.
No, you don't,
street smarts.
unless you're doing this every day for a living.
Right.
I had been with a big electronics company, who owned the world's largest security equipment manufacturer. And I did a good job in another division, and they're like, hey, you did great over here. We're going to put you over here and run this division, which I didn't want to do. But the people that were my employees, and I had 110 of them at the time, they were all former alphabet agencies or state or local police agencies. So I even had one guy that was Ronald Reagan's Secret Service agent on Air Force One, and a lot of CIA and former FBI, all former whatever, because the money was better in the private sector, right? So they all left the government. But I was blown away and amazed by what you're talking about, the things you pick up on the street, being around these guys and what they knew, what they were trained for, that you never caught on to.
Right.
But when you hang out with them, like your alertness, your antennas go up
Yeah.
as to what's going on around you, and it's
Yeah.
mind-boggling.
Well-
what if you really know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I've lost all that now.
No,
I'm
you
clueless.
you probably still have it. Like for instance, if you go to a restaurant, which way do you face? Do you face the door, or do you feel comfortable with your back against?
No. My back has to be against the wall, and
So
I'm
you still
looking
got
out.
it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like
So-
by a window.
So I have a safety tip that, and this is silly, but with the holidays coming up, right? And a lot of people don't think about this. So let's say you get your mail and you're running and doing your errands. You're grabbing your mail. How often do you just throw it in your front seat or your back seat and you go on with your day,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So now let's say you're a teenager, or let's say you're an attractive lady, or let's say you're a guy and you have a really nice car that a lot of guys want to look at. And you go out to eat or wherever it is, and somebody sees you get out. They notice you for whatever reason, okay? Now you leave, you go into that establishment. They're like, okay, I can go up to that car. Nobody's there anymore, right? They also know a lot about you. They know if you came alone. They know if you came with somebody. They know they can probably size you up for like vulnerability level, or whether or not you're somebody that they could easily target. But now if your mail is in your car, now they have your first and last name and your address,
Yep.
as well as the make and model of your car. Work credentials, if you have the around the neck work credentials. So whenever I give that little safety tip, ladies are like, oh my goodness, but people are watching all the time now, and everybody's got a phone.
How many of these people that you teach actually take their credentials after work and they hang it on their mirror
Hang
in
it
their
on
car?
their mirror.
And it's just
Or
there.
in their center console, right?
Yeah.
I mean, open in the cup holder.
Yeah.
Have the apartment complex sticker parking on their window, or
Yep. And then we've got those air tags, right, where people are dumping those.
Yep.
Well, if you just throw your mail in your front seat, they can say she's good looking, she's this age range, doesn't appear to have a boyfriend, no kids with her, this is the make and model, this is where she's going. I mean, how easy is that? Even if it's just an acknowledgement, now it could, crimes of opportunity, right? It could just be as simple as a theft from vehicle, but they could also decide, let's find him or her on social media. Now, are we going to have a harassment, a stalking, or if it is that nice car, do they think you come from a lot of money, and now they're going to try to go to your house and rob you?
So, and that's one of the things with social media out there. It's like you just go online, you see a person's name, you can find them.
Yeah.
You can look them up, and it's just easy to do
very easy.
nowadays. Much easier than it's ever been in the past.
Right.
So, excuse me, I got to.
No, you're good. You're good.
as far as the firearm training, To what extent do you teach that, or how do you even begin? Is it for beginners wanting to learn firearm?
So all of the above, but my favorite is the beginner. Like it's going to be the woman who husband travels a lot. They take care of the kids. There's guns in the house, but they are terrified and don't know what to do with it. So that way, and even somebody who wants to know what to do with it, they don't. I break it down to, this is a pistol. These are the parts of a pistol, right? I talk a little bit about permitless carry, also known as constitutional carry, as well as LTC, the benefits, what we should look out for there. And then I break it down. Like we're talking about all the fundamentals. We got grip, we got stance, sight picture, sight alignment, trigger press, breathing. We deal with it all right there in class. Obviously, I go over all the safety rules, and I have a training or a cert gun that we use in class, so I can make sure that all those fundamentals are in place before we even go down into the range. And then we'll take the last hour of the course and we'll do live fire practice in the
Make
range.
sure they're comfortable with the gun itself before we even go into
Before,
the firing.
yes. And then with my ladies, I make sure until they're comfortable and they say differently, I'm loading for sure when we first start, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not letting people do that. But I put 1 round in the magazine. Yeah. That way, if somebody is, startled by the bang or the recoil, or you just never know.
That's
I've had people like want to drop it. They haven't, but I've had people that just, or they freak out and they turn around and they have bad muzzle control, right? And so we put 1 round in, so we know that when that shot is fired, we're not going to have any accidents or anything, and we can talk about what just happened.
What is the most popular gun that they pick?
So for women, I have a couple favorites. I have a few favorites, but I do like the Glock 43X for women. Glocks are just reliable. They're simple. Some people poo-poo them, right, because it's Glock, but they're simple. They're easy to take apart. They're easy to clean. They fire very well, right? I also very much like the SIG P365 XL. I say XL. I like a bigger grip and a little bit more mag capacity.
What caliber is that?
You can get that in a 380 or a 9.
Or a 9,
so
yeah.
I'm typically with 9s with my ladies. Some ladies want a 380, but typically it's 9s.
Yeah, I am more accurate with the 380 than in the 9. The 9 has a little bit more recall. I've actually had the 45. The 45 was just, I couldn't do anything with it.
I love a 45.
Really?
Yes, but that's not a really easy everyday carry, right?
No, it's
So
not.
you need something
No.
that you're actually going to carry if that's the whole sole reason you're taking the
But
courses.
if somebody was like from here to the door, I can actually just put it where I want it with a
I
380.
think you might need to come train with me so that you can get your 9s to go where they needed to go, and maybe even a 45.
Yeah, because nobody knows everying. I don't care what they say.
Listen,
the guys.
I love my male clients. I do get a lot of male clients, and typically, I'm always honored by it because I'm like, oh, you could go to some guy, but I think they don't, because if my assumption, I could be completely off, so maybe you guys will have some input, but if I think guys that they don't want to go to another guy that maybe they're going to feel like I should already know this or something, right? So, or maybe they just want to come to a female because females are really, what am I trying to say here?
Details.
What am I trying to say? Attention to detail.
Yeah.
Attention to detail, that's right.
Right? I'm very non-judgmental, but I love teaching. Teaching guys, and when I do have guys come to me, sometimes they're ex-military and they're used to long guns, and long guns and semi-automatic handguns they're a different breed, right?
Yep.
Or somebody's transitioning from iron sights to red dot, and they want my help with the optic and learning how to do that transition.
One thing I find too is different guns feel differently in your hand. So you've got to get a gun that fits well in your hand.
Yes.
And that's hugely important.
Yep. A lot of times my women will come to my classes and they'll have these handguns, like the snub nose or something. They're the short little barrel, and like, oh, my husband gave it to me. And it's like, God bless him. He's sweet. He wants to keep you safe. He's thinking smaller is better. It's not, because what the women are typically scared of is that big bang and the recoil, right? And so if you have this short little muzzle, we're just exacerbating that fear for her. So let's try some other ones. So I think it's great, but I think, unless you've been there and shot with your wife or girlfriend, I think it's really great to go rent first and see what works for them before you make the purchase for them.
I was back in Georgia one time because I lived there and here, and I went to a range and I rented a gun, and it kept jamming. So I get the guy to come in, and he's cocking the damn thing. I don't remember exactly what happened, but it went off, and I remember it hit up right in front of us, and it bounced back in where we were.
Wait, the casing, not the actual round. Like the round was fired.
Well, the round went somewhere, yeah.
So the casing that was jamming. Gotcha.
Yeah, but it scared the hell out of both of us, So that guy's like, I'm getting you another gun. Well, thank you, because I was having trouble with this thing,
Yeah.
We had we had a gal in the Mustang Club. Her name was Casey. She's still around. She's down in Kema now, but just as cute as she could be. We went to, because we used to do a range run every year, and we went to range, and I went into where her and her husband were, and she's like, "Hey, you want to shoot around?" Well, sure. And I'm shooting, and it's like all over everywhere, you know.
All over everywhere.
Oh yeah. She grabs this gun. She grabs this gun. I'm watching. It's like, man, she's deadly accurate with his gun. I was like, what is up with this? Well, it turns out she grew up. Her dad was an arms instructor in the Air Force.
Okay.
So she could break this thing down, build it, never look at it, you know,
Right.
blindfolded and deadly accurate with
That
it.
was probably one of her homework, right? Her dad.
Oh,
was-
I'm sure growing up it was. Yeah.
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 Hey, it's been a while since I've been to the range, and that's another reason why I need Heather's help. But I'll be happy just to shoot the paper.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
We need to
When I
up. We
shoot the
need to
paper,
up
I was
those
excited.
expectations.
Yeah. I mean, just in the circle somewhere.
Okay.
in the guy's body or whatever. I was happy.
You know, I have 70-year-old. Lately, I've had 3 clients who are 172 and then 2 74-year-old ladies, and I love them. I love it because, first of all, how brave. But
Right.
what's happening is they're losing their husbands.
Yeah.
And they're by
Yes.
themselves. And with
Right.
how our nation has been, they've been worried about, well, can I protect myself, right? Because there's a lot of the elderly scams, elderly abuse, all that stuff. And they come to me and they've never touched a gun in their entire life, right?
Right.
And those ladies are so good. When we're talking about getting it all in the red, I'm so proud of them. I love my ladies.
That's awesome.
Where they fear like people breaking in their house while
Yeah,
they're there.
breaking
or
in their
something like
house. Yeah, or they're just scared. They don't know
that. Knowing
what's.
that they're elderly and, you know,
It's very empowering.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, city of Houston too. We're still the 4th largest city in the nation, I believe, and I don't think our crime level's gone down in the
Don't,
past
yeah.
few years. Houston's somewhat out of control at this point.
Yeah.
We've got a governor that, God bless him, you know, marijuana is bad, it makes bad stuff happen, so it's not legal here. But anybody can have a gun, you know, just be born and you better have a gun and
Well,
you got to
and
leave
no
the
felony
state.
convictions.
Well, yeah, okay.
Which brings me to the next thing that you say that because Heather just did a segment on open carry. You know, should you show your, firearm or should you not? And that was a good topic.
Yeah,
because
I would
people think
never-
that, people have different opinions.
Yeah,
on
there's
that.
pros and cons for
You're-
actually having the carry license,
Yeah.
right?
But yeah, she's talking about like you see some of these guys open
Open
carry,
carry
and it's like
or-
right on their
or
hip,
concealed.
and that's not.
Yeah.
My personal opinion is like that's not the way to go. There's a lot to
Right.
say about the element of surprise.
You know, I understand.
Well, I mean, if I'm in a public area and nobody knows I have the gun with me, right?
that's the best place to be.
Yeah, I mean, and that some guy's next to me, he's got a gun. First of all, I'm moving away from him.
Yeah.
But second of all, if somebody comes in with it, then they're going to rob the place or whatever
He's
they're
the
going
first
to do.
target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so.
But the open carry thing is a lot of people don't understand that, yes, they can legally do it, but at the same time, it's intimidating to people. And that's where they call the police. The police
Yeah.
have to get involved. And then it becomes a challenge. And now they're, one reason or another, they're being told they have to put the gun up or they're going to get arrested or something like that. So,
Well, just because you can doesn't mean you should,
That-
right?
right,
Like, get
right.
the education, understand
Right.
the signage, understand the laws
Yeah.
around it, both permitless carry and with your LTC. But there's still rules and regulations,
Yeah.
right? And you have to respect those,
Yeah.
and you also have to.
the other things have changed too, because we had rifles in our pickups at high school.
Yeah.
In a high
Yeah.
school parking lot. That's how I went
Yeah.
to school.
I'll never forget. I'm from Pennsylvania originally, but I got transferred here when I was 15 years old. And before I even got enrolled in school, the dean had me down to, the guidance counselor had me down to the field house to get signed up for football first. So I'm out at the field house. I'll never forget, there's this guy in this like 65 Chevy pickup truck with a pearly button shirt, his arm hanging outside. You could see his shirt. He's got the cowboy hat on. And in the back window, he's got the shotgun or rifle or whatever it
Had
was.
the gun rack.
Yeah, and then he's got the Beatles blaring in his truck. I'm like, yeah, something doesn't fit with this. But back then it was normal. He'd
Yeah.
leave that gun in the back
Well, we actually
window of that
had,
truck all day.
We had gun class at the high school. We were actually target practicing in
Wow.
high school.
I didn't know they would
Yeah.
offer that in high school. But I was going to ask Heather, where do you recommend the best place to carry your gun? Some people put in the back, their ankle, their front.
That's all subjective to you and what you're most comfortable with. But you also have to number one, feel comfortable. It has to be comfortable, and you have to practice, because you have to practice wherever that is on your draw, a safe draw, right?
'Cause,
Because
yeah.
we don't want to muscle ourselves. We need to be
No.
able to safe draw. So
I was told by a police officer that it takes too long for your back, that you should have it in your front, because then you could just.
I do a concealed carry class too, especially for my ladies, to show them the different options and then different style holsters, what works, what doesn't work, bands, all the things that work. And then I let them kind of know with their body mechanics, like how to determine where the most comfortable place is. It's going to be trial and error, but before you carry live rounds and ammunition in a handgun, period, you need to practice. You need to know that you know how to appropriately draw that weapon safely. I like appendix.
Yeah, in front of you. In front
I'm
of
an appendix person.
And not all your clients are coming in wanting to handle guns.
Right.
A lot of them will just want self-defense.
Right.
And you know, build confidence right here and preparedness. So do you have clients that come in not sure of themselves, you know, don't know if they could handle an attack or thing, and then walk out later being confident that they
So-
can handle?
Yeah, so that's part of my situational awareness course. That's part of the reason why it's 2 hours. I don't teach hand-to-hand combat. I don't do that for personal reasons, and also because I also know, coming from law enforcement, where we would practice, I was blessed to have a department that had the budget, and so we did our use of force regularly, right? But if you don't practice that on a regular basis, when you get that adrenaline rush, you're not going to remember, right? And to really be able to overpower a man, I'm not saying it can't happen, it can happen, but you need to know what you're doing. So I talk about creating distance. How to go about safely creating that distance if you can. If you can't create distance and you're not somebody that wants to use lethal force, here are some non-lethal options. And then I introduce a bunch of different non-lethal options, ways that you can carry them, keep them close to your person, so that if you have to use it or deploy it, you're able to and do it effectively.
Right.
What
Yeah.
was your personal reason for not wanting to do that? Was it just because
Hands-on
it's
combat?
unreliable? Yeah, like if someone grabs you from behind, so do you teach how to get them off of you?
I don't do that. Could I? Yes, but I don't. I think there's a lot of liability that can go with that. I don't want anybody getting hurt in my
Yeah,
class, not
yeah.
saying they would have to.
Yeah.
You
But-
want to focus on just getting away.
But realistically, I also, yes, let's create distance and get away, or get to a safe spot where we can defend ourselves with either non-lethal or lethal means of protection, right? Because like I'm saying, I trained, we did very, very good training in my department. And if I wouldn't think that I could immediately just grab some guy and throw him down to the ground, why am I going to give you some false expectation that you can?
But we know you can throw a guy down. That's just you, though.
Okay,
She's got those guys seeking her out,
Yeah,
though. You know
she's-
that.
Right?
on our past episode, we visited road rage.
Oh.
So I don't know if you talk about road rage in your classes.
If somebody asks the question, I will. I mean, yes. And again, pick your battles, right? Because
Right.
people are unpredictable. I'm not going to lie. I'm not somebody who's necessarily, like, I get a little upset with some of these drivers in Houston. So I might throw an Oppenheimer.
That's okay, Randy
or
admitted that last
like,
show.
I'm probably using some terminology,
expletives.
but would I ever brandish a gun or do anything to incite some kind of confrontation? Absolutely not. And you shouldn't either.
And that's one of the things I actually said on the last podcast on road rage was the minute you brand that gun, that's assault.
Yeah. Terroristic
Right.
threats, assault.
I mean, all you got to do is show it. You might be trying to intimidate the other person, but that
But
is
you could show it to the
assault.
wrong person, and next thing you know, you're popped.
That's right. And
Yeah.
I was always taught, if you're going to pull the gun, you use it.
If you're going to pull the gun, you better be
Yeah,
prepared to use it. So you
don't
need
just
to,
pull it to show
yeah,
somebody.
yeah. And so I agree with you. Like that's just
That's
it
why I
goes
the
say
last thing you need to
keep
go
the
to.
banana in your car.
yeah.
That's right. Hey, Heather, we're going to have to get out of here and give some station recognition here in a second, but how do people get in touch with you?
So my website is hartmantactics.com. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram at Hartman Tactics. So very simple. Keep it simple for you.
Is there a phone number or anything or an email address?
Email is heather@hartmantactics.com.
Okay. And then do you go to different locations to hold your classes?
Yes, thank you for asking that. I partner with an amazing range here in the Conroe Woodlands area. It's called Copandero. I don't know if you've heard of it.
About 2 miles from my house.
Yes, Copandero is amazing, you guys. It's like Cabela's meets Bass Pro on steroids, right? They have a VIP lounge, they have a coffee shop, they have 100-yard indoor rifle range, as well as obviously it's an indoor range archery. But I love it. Everything is beautiful. The women love it. They feel safe. They're happy to come there, you know. So got to give my props to
A lot of
Copendale.
nice people.
So it's a nice setting too out there.
Very nice.
It's not in the city or anything like that.
Right,
So yeah.
right.
Yep. And you know, I've been out with her 3 times, and every single time I've been out with her,
You feel safe?
well, not only do I feel safe, but they say, "Oh, that's the gun girl." I
Yeah.
mean, they just know who she is.
But
you know?
also, I want to add that I don't put a ton on my calendar. So if anybody's interested or you want to get your wives and girlfriends, I am on a request basis. So I'll throw 1 or 2 classes on my calendar. But that's because everybody's schedules are so crazy, right? So if somebody's interested in, I encourage you to get a hold of me because if I have that day off, I will put it on my calendar and I'll happily
Yeah.
come in to work
really
with you.
accessible.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Well, Heather, with HartmanTactics.com, we appreciate you coming into the studio today, especially with the rain and everything out there, which is a
Right.
mess
Yes.
getting here.
Yes,
Yes, and-
Thank you so much
Perfect
for
day.
coming
Yes,
in.
and also she's going to be one of our sponsors at Cars and Coffee for a Cause come the new year. So we'll be happy to
excellent.
partner with her on that too.
You
She'll be out at
know,
our show.
I'll see you, I think, in March. I go down for back surgery at the middle of December, so but I'll be back on my feet by late February. So
Good luck with that back surgery. I know
Yeah.
that can be a difficult recovery. And thank you guys for having me as
Thank
well.
you.
yeah, we appreciate you
thanks,
coming in
Heather.
here. We're going to scoot on out. This is Car Club. No, I missed it again. No, I got this wrong. I've done this 4 weeks in a row. This is Cruisin' Car Club Talk on Lone Star 104.5 and 106.1 FM. Or for those Globetrotters out there, I got this all messed up.
It's her beauty. It's her beauty.
For those Globetrotters out there, we can be streamed anywhere on earth at irlonestar.com, on Facebook, or on YouTube. I'm Randy Weldon. That's Robert Helmer. And you are?
Dana.
Pritchard.
And we'll be
From
back
the
with our next guest.
Car enthusiasts of Conroe, FM 104.5 and 106.1 Lone Star Community Radio invites you to shift into gear every Monday from 1 to 2 with Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy for news on all things automotive in the greater Houston-Conroe area. Can't make a live show? We've got you covered. You can find all of our uncut content, including full episodes on Spotify, iTunes, Play Store, YouTube, Facebook, and irlonestar.com. Again, that's Mondays 1 to 2, Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert and Randy. See you there.
Hey, welcome back to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 and 106.1 FM. I'm Randy Weldon. This is Dana Pritchard. That guy was Robert Helmer. And who's our guest this segment?
We have Vernon Wilhelm, the president of Northside Mustang Car Club.
So we've got the president and the vice president sitting on the same side of the table.
Yes, we do.
That's never happened before.
Oh, yes, it has. Yeah, and he's come in, and we're going to review our last show, the Lone Star Motor Madness, and I think it was a very successful show. You tell us.
Yeah, I mean the show was good. I mean, with everything, you know, weather kills a show. No
Weather
matter what
kills a
car
show.
show it is,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
going to kill the show. We were down on on a number of cars, but we still had a good turnout for the show. A lot of high-end cars.
A lot of
were out
nice
there.
cars out
A
there.
lot of diversity of
Yes.
vehicles. Mm-hmm.
And the show went well. I mean, we're still able to donate to our charities. So that's going to, you know, any show that you're able to donate to your charities is a good show.
A good show.
And we had good music and good food and good entertainment by
I don't know
Randy.
about music.
Robert will contest you on that music thing.
Randy did a good job on
Thank
everything.
you. Thank you.
I can tell you that we have, for myself, I mean, a lot of people I've talked to and stuff over there with the car community, a lot of good feedback from the show. Ready for it again next year, and as we've got it
that's
scheduled.
It's
Yeah.
nice having the indoors too option.
Yeah, the
covered
indoors
parking.
really work.
The indoor and the covered,
And plumbing,
along with the
indoor
outdoor.
plumbing.
But I heard a lot of good things on the dart throw with the balloons. What do you call that?
That's our door prizes.
The
there.
door prizes. Yes, I heard a lot of good things on that. People were. We were doing so many of them because you had a lot of them lined up, and
Yep.
the gifts, the door prizes were nice this year.
Yes.
But I got a lot of good feedback on that. People enjoyed that.
Yeah, and the silent auction. How do we do on that?
Silent auction, I mean, again, with your numbers are down, it don't do as well as you expected to do. We had plenty of items out there, but it'll be more in a, $1,000 area. It's not
Yeah.
going to be as much as we did last year.
I
but
know
mean,
that blanket that I donated sold.
Yeah.
I don't know what it sold for.
What
but
blanket did you donate?
It was my neighbor who took all my car show shirts.
Show shirts?
Yeah, all the ones I've never worn. and she sewed them together and made a quilt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really nice.
I'll have
Vernon's
her
got
do
a
that
quilt like
tomorrow.
that.
Yeah.
I have about 3,000.
And not only did it help clean out my closet, and it helped donate with the show.
Yeah, and it's kind of unique too because I've not really seen them before where they've done it on the front and back.
Yeah.
This.
Oh,
was,
they did both sides.
Yeah, she did both sides.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Stuff those shirts.
And Joe Pro Screen was there, and he said, "Hey man, there's like 3 or 4 of my shirts, my,
Yeah,
my
of course
designs
there
on
are,
this
yeah.
quilt."
Well, I can tell you a quick story on the quilt. The individual that bought it, he had talked to Sandy about about it, and some of the things that were on there were bringing back memories to him about the shows that he was at.
Okay.
And he was bidding on that, and she was actually turned out watching it because if he wasn't, she was going to buy it and give it to him. I mean, it was
Oh, okay,
it
that's-
brought that kind of memories back to
Yeah.
I wonder how long it
Yeah.
took to make that.
It took a weekend.
A
whole
weekend.
weekend?
Yeah, the quilt. It took one. Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I have 24 years worth of car club shirts leftovers and tubs
Yeah,
and tubs and tubs in storage that I'm sure I can make some kind of
Yeah,
quilt.
I couldn't put anything else in the closet. Man, I got to get rid of it. I don't even wear them. They're like brand new.
I've got a bunch like that too. Yeah. I thought the whole thing was well done, well laid out. I liked the stage setup with one exception. Like when we would call a winner up, they were in the stands, which is on the other side of the world.
Yeah, and they took forever to get back over
Well,
to
the fact that
stage.
there weren't a whole bunch of spring chickens there, we're all aging a little bit.
Yeah.
And so by the time they got out of the stands and walked all the way across, it took a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we started having people up on the stage. We need an elevator or an escalator for next year.
Well, one of the things we are going to do is also stairs on both sides.
That's the
We
plan.
had one way in, one way out, so we're going to try to
You can
improve
just jump
that.
off the front or what?
No, it's
there
a little.
I'm just kidding. Oh, that's right. You said no spring chickens.
Well, we're looking at it. We're probably going to move the stage back to where it was the first year. We're going to move you to the stage.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, having
Yes.
them close.
That way, we're not setting up and doing things. We're learning every show. We learn a little bit more and we're learning how to best present the show to everybody and make everybody's enjoyment. And we understand that time is an essence at these shows. People are ready to get things, so the quicker we can move things along and stay to our time frames, the better it is for
And
everybody.
only set up one sound system.
But the smartest thing is to hold that 50-50 till the very, very end because
So people
even
will
though
stay.
they get their trophy, they're not leaving until they get the 50-50 money called,
Or we can do it halfway through the show.
But hey, I'm getting a back operation December, so next year I'll be able to get up and down off the stage without assistance.
You'll have an excuse.
I'll have it. Yeah, that's what I'm good at, excuses. That's right.
Or we can
For
just,
what it's worth, though, we talked about this earlier on the show. My car's still in the shop.
Yep.
Is it?
We're still finding things wrong with it that need repaired. Yeah,
That's what you get for leaving and let it sit for 2 years.
I was mad at it.
well, Randy, if we have a ramp, we can just get you a motorized scooter.
Well,
There
scooters,
you
there
go,
you
an EV. We'll get him an EV.
Can I get flames painted on it?
What are those chairs
Yeah,
they
EV
advertise
works.
going up the stairs in your house? Those chairs.
Oh, okay.
We'll get you taken care of, Randy.
As long as we do
So,
that.
any other
Well,
changes might be made for next year?
Well, the thing is, we did have our last year the club meeting. You were there.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the activities and things like that we're scheduling for next year.
Yeah, we got four car cruises, right?
Yeah, 4 car cruises. A couple of them were taken out that we did. We're adding a new one, a painted church cruise. So a lot of things and changes are coming for next year to helping. We got a new website that was approved. We're
Right.
fixing to work on that. That's all going to be coming out. So
We have a
lot-
timeline on the website?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Be done this evening at 6 p.m.
Yeah, but it definitely is going to help because right now the one we have is like almost non-functional. There's not a whole lot there to do.
We'll have a new judging program coming in.
Right, and for people who do not know it and they're listening to us, the carshowfund.com is gone. He has taken it down, so we are getting a new one. What's the new one called?
Speed Judge.
Speed Judge, and that's supposed to be a really good system. It's 20 years old at least.
Yeah, they've been doing it for 20 plus years.
And what
So-
is that for?
That's for judging car shows.
And
Okay.
registration.
Registration.
okay.
Yeah, that's how we're going to start running our next car show. So
And I was going to ask a question for Vernon about the judging. Can you go over that a little bit? Lately, we've been interacting with different clubs and getting some feedback on how they're not happy about various shows on how they're judged. So I was just wondering, in your particular club, do you pick outside judges? How do you make it not biased?
So, first of all, everybody that's out there judging, if they've got a car entered in a class, they do not judge their own class. Second of all, we set up at least 3 to 4 judging classes or clinics every year to train and teach judges. We pull outside judges, and these classes are open to everybody. So we'll have judges coming in from other clubs besides their own clubs to put all that together. It's set up with a point system, and when you enter and you send it in, they don't have no idea what the other ones are being turned in. The information is when it's hit send, it's gone. So,
but if you're a tight-knit group and a lot of people, everybody knows everybody, how do you prevent voting for your friends' cars or noting, for...
That's just something I don't think you can get away from.
Well,
to make it as
a
fair as
judge
possible.
That's an ethical issue, but everybody's there to be fair, and everybody's gone through the class. So and we've all judged a car and compared our own scores to make sure that we're consistent together, that we're all coming about the same.
One of the things that Vernon's done is he's putting on these clinics, and each person that attends is told what to look for and how to judge against it, but then they go and they judge on their own. And if I'm not mistaken, and as you've done this multiple times now, you're starting to get tests that are turned in on an online test where nobody sees what anybody else is judging for, and they're starting to come in pretty consistent. And that's what you're shooting for, is to have these same people judging.
Correct, and consistent. And when we do a clinic and they're out there and they're judging cars, and we'll have one car there, and we'll have, say, 5 or 6 people that's there judging, for this clinic. They go through there and they judge the car, and then they turn that in, and then we're going to go through and we'll see all these numbers, and we'll say, and one that comes up is display, and we have 1 through 3 points on displays, and people are picking out, where they feel their display's at. Well, then I had a variation in there from a 1 to a 0 to a 3, and most of them were here at this high end, then we were low on 1. Well, why did you pick, or a lot of them were low and another one was high. Why did you pick? And it's because we're not going, display is not just how much stuff you got out there in front of your car. Display is also on the presentation of the car. How is it displayed? Does the car have a good stance? Does the car have, it's not just, does he have a sign out there in front of the car? And we're trying to teach that so that they understand that there's more to just those kind of items.
And also, the judges do not tally the final score. So the judge he does not know who actually won. He's going from car to car and he's judging the car. So I've had to go and ask, hey, is there any ties? Because I don't know what the scores are. I go to a car, you score it, and you go to the next one, and you don't tally them, so you don't know who's got the most points.
And who's actually choosing the judges?
The system.
Board members?
All the judges.
Well,
Yeah, choosing the judges.
No,
board members?
not board members. In this case, we're just asking for volunteers.
Yes.
So you just have people come up to you and say, I want to be a judge, and then who makes the decision? It's you, it's you,
But
it's you?
Well,
they have to go through the
they
training.
have to go through the courses.
Okay.
If you
Yes.
don't go through the training, you can't just walk up day of the show and
So
become
people
a
go
judge.
to your training, say 25 people, and then how do you select the 10 judges or 5 judges?
Normally, we don't have 25 people. We don't have a class.
We're
of 10.
lucky to get 5 or 6 or
Yeah.
7
Sometimes,
people.
yeah, it just depends. I mean,
So it's those 5 or 6
Yeah.
that go to the class are the judges?
Yeah, I wish we
Okay.
had a pool of
I
25
mean, we might
Oh.
get 7, 8, 9, something like that.
And,
but
and another thing with getting members outside the club, well, you're talking about a Mustang club. Well, most members are members of all 3 Mustang clubs, so that's really hard to get somebody that's outside of the groups.
Yeah.
But you've done that. You've gotten people that are
Would you
coming in
want
with these
people from outside?
with these really well restored cars, custom cars. You've got them come in
Yeah,
and
because
judge
if it's
for
an
us.
open
Yes.
car show, you would want
Yeah.
people who not just specialize in Mustang judges.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm just talking about the pool of volunteers we have.
look, I mean, we'll just use the fall show. I mean, we have for the fall show, we've got all these judges out there. We are Mustang Club, well, Ford Club. Our best of show is a Chevy Camaro.
Right.
You know, so I mean, we're not doing we're trying to stay away from that
Yeah,
because
I don't think we're showing any bias on models. And
to me, we're more getting people focused on the charity and the helping the community out. And if we are biased and stuff like that when we're picking cars, we're going to kill our car show.
You don't get people to come back.
Right.
You just don't.
Do you offer feedback on the show after the show? Because I know you can never make everybody happy, and there's always going to be somebody sore about a trophy. Do you ever hear feedback or?
You
Only
you
when you
have
do
no
bad. Yeah.
you have the most open feedback that you can. Almost everybody within the car community resides on Facebook. And that place there will let you know how well you did on a car show.
But it's also, everybo's encouraged to have input, at least with Vernon shows.
We can't improve if we don't.
Get
Right.
the input.
And we're, to his credit, he's been, attempting to improve each and every show,
Yeah, and
each
it's
and
a
every
lot of
meeting
work.
that we have, stuff like that.
It just can wear on you if knowing that people have some kind of qualm. But if people are educated in how the judging process works or what they're being judged on, a lot of times people will just put their car on a show and just think, oh, if I win a trophy, that'll be nice. But they don't have any idea on how their car is even being judged and what it's being judged on.
Look, for us, or for me, myself, if we know of a judging issue or a problem or something like that, the best way to get to take care of it is get in front of it right away. Admit that you had an issue. Get in there, resolve it. That's all they're looking for.
And another thing is also it's easy to complain, but it's, if you want to help improve
Make it
things,
better.
Volunteer, become a judge, help us. And that's the way
be
we all
productive
improve.
about it and
Yeah.
constructive about it. But
You
no,
know,
Vernon's
we-
done a great job. You all have done a great job.
It's
a lot
this
of
guy.
years.
Yeah,
It's this guy. What I see as Vernon's biggest problem is I don't see anybody that's going to be willing to step up and do a show better than you've done. I really don't see that.
Well, the good thing about it is, okay, I can still do the shows, but the good thing is right now, look, it won't be this year, but next year, that's 4 years.
You're retiring.
Unless there's a change of the bylaws, there's no.
Yeah.
Robert, we're going to have to get everybody together and change the bylaws.
Change the bylaws.
Gonna have to step in, Robert.
Yep.
Again. Right?
No, we're changing bylaws.
We need to get Phil come in.
Yeah, he said he wants to get involved somehow.
We'll change the badges on his Corvette
Yeah,
and put
but-
Mustang stickers on there for a
I
little
think
bit.
anybody watching though right now, Vernon has been very transparent on how we judge. Any judging question he'll answer. You can come in for yourself and see how we run the show, and I don't think you can complain after that.
I mean, our judging has reached out for just more than just us. We've helped with the sheriff's department. They have a show. They brought judges in. They're asking, because of the job that we're doing, we've been asked to help out with on the Lions Club this coming year. Randy's going to do the music, so you're not going to like that. But
Yeah, he'll wear earplugs again.
You're gonna do the karaoke also, right?
Yeah, I'm going to start singing. That's really going to drive him away.
I'll bring the guitar.
I know you've been practicing in the shower, right? I heard from a birdie you've been
and
practicing.
in the car, which is why Yolanda's not.
One of the things we touched on a meeting the other night was how do we get people back into the car clubs and participating and volunteering. All clubs right now are struggling, and I think the biggest warning right now, the red flag, is that we're not getting the youth in, we're not getting new members participating, and if y'all out there don't step up and help, these clubs may be fading away. These clubs may be going away.
I know why it is, though. They're competing with the youngsters who are just gathering up at parking lots and meeting, and they don't want to do any work.
It's very hard to get a youth involved in an organized. They don't understand business meetings and dinner meetings. They just want to hang out at the parking lot.
Oh, come on. When you guys were 20 years old, any of us sitting in this room, did we want to hang out with people that were 50, 60 years old?
Yeah.
Doing work.
Ah,
Doing
yeah.
work that they consider work.
You know, I mean, it just you want to hang out with those that are about your age. So I think instead of focusing on the youth, for the people that are members and enjoy getting together to have dinner with each other and talk about similar interests, focus on those people. It has been an issue since COVID, since coming out of COVID.
Yeah, it seems
people
like
coming
we never
back
came
out.
back.
That's been a struggle for everybody.
And look, again, you just kind of hit on it. It's not the younger group. It's the older group, and some of those are seniors. They're on fixed incomes. They can't be involved in all the cruises and all
they're
that kind of
tired
stuff.
too.
I mean, there's a lot of expenses, and with economy and stuff, it really starts to burden on them, and they have to sit there and start choosing what they can. We're going to look at making some changes, possibly on some meeting times and things like that maybe help do that. I mean, we used to have meetings on Thursday nights, and then now we've tried Friday nights. Maybe we need to change up something there, and it's something that we'll talk a little bit more about. And then some of the activities, you talked about youth, maybe going up there north to Madisonville, right north of here, and open up that kind of an event up there to where, it's kind of appealing to younger generation. MCA is trying the same thing with track events and things like that to bring to the youth.
Speaking of that, I was at a track event this weekend. It was over at the speed track over off of 59, over there in New Caney, and it was not for Mustangs.
Oh, you're talking about the little go-kart?
Well, no, it's not a go-kart. It was for small cars. They had to have a wheelbase of 105 inches, so they wouldn't let the Mustangs.
Dirt track, or
no? It's actually it's where the go-karts are at. There's a second
okay,
track.
same place. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But they were letting cars on there, and they gave them a safety training class. Then they went around the track with them and they showed them what they could do and where to start your turns and stuff. And so these were 20-something, people in there, and so they let the cars on, and so the kids were learning what their car can do going around the track. They wasn't actually racing each other. There was no trophies, no times, nothing. It's just go around the track, and just have fun with your car.
So the track event stuff I've taken part in, the first thing you learn is how to take corners at a high rate of speed without upsetting the balance of your
Right.
car, and I think that's important.
Right.
The problem we run into, I think, when we get into whether it be the MCA event or any other track event, is these things start at like $175 a day.
This
and go
was
up.
not cheap. This was $100.
Well, $100 is a lot better than $175, right?
Yeah.
And that's a lot better than $300.
But
And then you've got, in addition to that, you've got insurance. If you're going to get track insurance,
Right.
which is not
But I
inexpensive.
thought it was a great event for young people to get started in the
for
car.
$100, it's
Yep.
I agree. It's a lot less expensive than everything else, but that's what's got to happen.
So,
Because look, when you were 20 or 25 years old, how much spare money do you have?
none.
No.
If I'm going to find a track event when I'm at that age, it's going to be out there on that curvy road that I know.
Well,
I
and listen, I know Robert's not ignorant to this either, but Rankin Road,
Yeah.
come on, man, you were there,
That's
I
where
was
I grew
there.
up.
Yeah. Friday nights, Saturday nights.
That was my Friday nights.
It was great out there, Vernon. It was out in the middle of there was nothing on Rankin back then, right?
Yep.
Except they had this development just south of Rankin. There became an industrial
Well, it
complex.
was one way in, one way in.
Yeah.
One
One
way
way
out.
in, one way out.
And it looked like it was out in the woods because it
It
was
was
about
dark.
a block off of Rankin Road.
Yep.
You were about a block off. And
And everybody got along great until all of a sudden the helicopters were coming in the sky and people
Well,
are
it-
screaming police and everybody's like,
it was, once you saw a record drivers pulling in, you knew the cops were coming.
yeah.
the younger we were, the less fear we had.
Yeah.
Oh, big time.
I can remember as a kid the drag racing. We didn't go to a Rankin Road. I remember doing it right in front of the Sonic downtown. I pull up next to a Camaro in my Mustang,
Yeah.
and I won't say the name, but the Camaro, he's now the judge.
Well, that was I grew up here, right? I mean, Fraser Road wasn't exactly the people weren't ignorant of that or some of the other areas around here, but some of the people I went to school with are now running the county, So yeah, those guys
Now
got in trouble
we're not
too back in those
endorsing
days.
street racing. We're just
No.
about the good old
You know, I
days.
was at a track event today. On my way up here. It's called Interstate 45.
yeah.
And we
You mean
thought
there was no traffic when you came up here?
Oh, well, no traffic. We thought people drove, I don't want to say ignorant, but we thought people drove like crazy in New Jersey over this last week we were up there. But when we got back to Texas, like, what were we thinking? People up there drive sanely, So, hey, we've got to hop out of here. Vernon, we can't thank you enough for coming into the studio
Thanks,
today.
Vernon.
It's raining out there, so you braved the rain. We appreciate that. All the way from Pasadena up here. But we're going to run. How do people get in touch with the club?
Well, right now the best way is through Facebook, and anything on there you find a flyer or something like that. My phone number is on everything, and it will be soon. We'll have a website up. I don't know that time frame, but we are going to be working on that diligently to get that back up with a new website that'll give us all our events, everything that we got going on.
I think still the name of the website that will be it's still online right now.
It
It's
is.
just extremely fun, but it's Northside.
Northside Mustang.
Is it Northside Mustang Car
I-
Club Events or Northside
No,
Mustang
it's
Car
no.
Club?
There are two. One of
Okay.
them's open, one of them's closed, but it's Northside Mustang Carclub.org.
Okay, it's the website.
Yeah, Northside Mustang. I've become Mike Tyson. Northside Mustang Carclub.org.
You make $20
Yes.
million over the weekend.
I did not make $20 million over the weekend. So, anyhow, thank you for coming in. What is your phone number? How do people find you?
You can find me at 573-931-3264.
All right, Vernon, thank you again.
Thanks
Thanks for
Brian.
having me, guys.
Take care.
And that's it for this episode of Cruisin' Car Club Talk with Robert Helmer, Dana Pritchard. I'm Randy Weldon. And locked up back there in the safe room / sound booth is our sound engineer and producer, Dick Schischler. We are broadcasting from the studios at Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 and 106.1 FM and streaming worldwide at Lone Star at irlonestar.com on Facebook and on YouTube.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.